Playoff eliminator for Missouri. Tigers are a two-loss team hosting undefeated and number 3 Texas A&M. Tigers chasing their first win against a top 5 team since 2010. Late first half, Missouri down 7-0, 3rd and 10. Missouri backup quarterback Matt Zollers under pressure. Damian Sanford knocks it loose and right into the hands of Dalton Brooks. Another look, takes it down to the 1 before going out of bounds. Right place, right time. 2 plays later, E.J. Smith punches it in. Texas A&M up 14-0 at the half. Aggies' first drive of the second half. 3rd and 6, Marcel Reed. Screen pass to Casey Concepcion. Open lane, he is gone. 48 yards to the house. Texas A&M up 21-0. Concepcion, 3rd straight game with a touchdown. And then the next Aggies possession, 21-7, punting from their own 34. It's a fake! Psych! Dalton Brooks takes the direct snap, 48 yards inside the red zone. That would lead to a field goal. Aggies up 24-7. Kept pouring it on mid-4th. Reuben Owens II, monster day, over 100 yards, 57 yards for the touchdown. 1 of 2 for him in this game. Texas A&M wins it 38-17 to remain undefeated. And the Aggies start a season 9-0 or better for the first time since 1992. They also start 6-0 or better in conference play for the first time since 1998. Texas A&M's first SEC road win in November. Since 2021, they had lost 7 straight. Aggies taking care of business. Probably will sit right there at number 3 when the college football playoff rankings are released on Tuesday. CBS Sports Stage 2 presented by Belfour Property Restoration. Back here in studio, Richard Johnson, Cardale Jones. Look, Marcel Reed and the Aggies are a force here. A lot of people think Texas A&M is number 1, number 2. They're number 3 in the country. They go on the road to Missouri, Cardale, and they get it done. That running game was explosive.
You know, it was, but I want to really turn the page on the defensive side of the ball, giving up 2 100-yard rushers for the Tigers. And I'm going to go on record. I think this game is a little different, maybe a little bit tighter, and with a healthy Bo Pabula, because Zellers throwing for under 100 yards is not going to win you many games, especially a game of this magnitude playing against the number 3 team in the country, a conference game where they come right into your backyard. I don't know how good this A&M team really is yet, because they haven't been tested. The only real test I think they really had was up in South Bend against Notre Dame. They ended up coming up with a win, but Notre Dame easily could have won that game. So to really start having those conversations to see if this team is really a tested and tough team, I think they're a really good team, but I don't think we'll be able to get that real answer until Week 12 when they play Texas.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's a really tough spot for Zollers here.
Absolutely.
First career start against this defense. I mean, that's just absolutely brutal. You knew that Mike Elko's unit was going to put a ton at him. You knew that the defensive front was going to be really strong, and you saw, the strip sack that I don't even know if it was a fumble, but it goes back the other way for the touchdown there. They were just behind the 8 ball. Was Missouri. Credit to A&M for coming out here and knowing you're probably going to get Missouri's best shot as best they can. You're probably going to get a little bit of razzle-dazzle with Missouri coming off of the bye week and, as Hakeem said, fighting for their playoff life. But A&M gets in, out, and on with their life because they handle business. That's another thing that great teams do. They handle business in a spot like this. Not a lot of drama in this game.
If they run the table and they have a perfect season, go to the SEC championship, and win the SEC championship, where would you put them?
Depends on if Ohio State and/or Indiana do the same thing.
Okay, but let's say that all happens, but that can't happen if it's Indiana and Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, right? Where do you stack this team up compared to Ohio State and Indiana?
I think whichever team wins that hypothetical Big Ten championship game with 2 hypothetically undefeated teams will be, in my opinion, slightly better than A&M.
I don't know. This is tough because you got to look who A&M may face in the SEC championship game, and then you see what Texas is doing. Texas is starting to look like the Texas we thought they would look like earlier on in the season. So basically, if they go undefeated, you're saying they beat Texas. I think the game is at Texas.
Yes.
And then winning against a potential really good Georgia, a really good Ole Miss, or a really good Alabama team in the SEC championship game, I think that resume will be extremely strong to have a conversation. Who's the best, who's the number 1 team, either undefeated Indiana, if they beat Ohio State, potentially in the Big Ten championship game, or vice versa.
So they could benefit, like they could move. because we talk hypothetically, they could move to number 1 if the 2 teams in front of them fall, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if they meet in the Big Ten championship, one of those teams is going to have a loss.
Yeah.
And one of those teams could have a loss come that game as well. So there's a way that they could benefit from just teams in front of them falling.
Yeah, but they've got to still.
There's a path here for the Aggies to be number 1 in the college football playoff rankings.
But they got to more than handle business.
Oh,
Like Cardale said,
know,
they got to go in there. That's an extremely hostile environment.
But would you believe, if they're number 1, would you believe in this team to win a national championship? Do you believe this is a contender to win a national championship?
Yes, but it depends on who they get in the bracket, right?
Right.
They're going to get they're going to get a bye, and they're going to last year. I thought that Oregon team
But even
was pretty
before you
doggone
see a
good.
bracket,
and then they got Ohio State. But it's you can't tell me how close they're going to be to contending for a championship in a tournament that I don't know who they're going to face.
But before I even see a bracket, Cardale, I can tell you right now, Ohio State can win it all. Indiana can win it all. I could even say Oregon can win it all. Ole Miss could win it all.
Sure.
I'm saying, like,
Those are legit arguments.
But do you believe that Texas A&M is a deep enough team defensively? We saw what they did today. Offensively, this is a complete team.
With Marcel Reed's explosiveness, with Marcel Reed executing in that great wide receiver core, of course A&M is talented and deep enough to make a run in the college football playoff to the national championship.
Or I think their path can potentially look like if they don't win an SEC championship, because let's be real, the college conference championship games are becoming almost obsolete because it's about the path of it.
And they will matter for the bye week. Remember,
exactly. But technically, you still get a bye because you don't play in your college. If you don't play in the championship week, well, you're off that week, so you still have a bye. You can be off that week and potentially host a home game. So what's more enticing if I'm a team, a home game or going to a neutral site, defending and coming off 18 to 19 days of not playing the game? We saw how that ended for Oregon, and actually we saw how that ended for the top 4 seeds last year, getting the short end of the stick because they all lost in their first game of the college football playoffs. I can see this A&M team or whoever these teams we talk about in the top 5 who don't make their their conference championship game have a smooth path like Penn State did last year when they play a Boise State, when they play the SMU, and they look up one game and one play from the national championship game if they go out and have a game-winning drive versus Notre Dame.
I think the way the seeds are going to fall this year it's going to be a little bit different, right? Right now, the committee is telling you that the ACC doesn't really belong here in the top 10. The ACC champion will make the college football playoff. Right now, it seems like that team will make it as around the 11 seed. Who knows what group of 5 team is going to make it for that 12 seed. And then now, because we're doing true seeding now, remember, Boise State's a top 4 seed last year. That Boise State team would not be a top 4 seed this year. They would be theoretically outside of the top 10 in this college football playoff. So remember, the way the seeds fall, you're going to get a little bit of a different shake as far as how the bracket's going to come out. I am a big proponent of getting a first round bye. I would much rather play fewer games against this echelon of team in a one-game scenario than not having the bye. I think the bye is very important in the college football playoff, especially now that we've gone to a true seeding format.
Yeah, totally. Alabama 4th in the nation right now. They've got, of course, the 4 ranked wins. They've won 7 in a row since losing to Florida State, and the committee told us that even though they have those 4 ranked wins, if you have a 0 in your loss column, we will still rank you ahead of a team with 4 ranked wins. And Alabama has the 3rd best odds to win the national championship behind Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. 4th best odds to win it all. And we get how Vegas does this, right? Because you're going to put your top 2 in the Big Ten. You're going to put your top 2 in the SEC. Like, this isn't a surprise that Texas A&M is up there with the 4th shortest odds because, of course, they can have a chance to win the SEC championship. The path for Texas A&M, you're talking about an 11-6 game, right? Like, right now it would be Virginia-Ole Miss.
Right now.
That's a that's
now,
a first-round game.
That's right now.
I know.
We got to see how it shakes out.
Oh, I'm aware. That's why this bracket will change plenty of times before we get to the selection Sunday. I just am saying on record, I'm a believer in Texas A&M. They're no joke. They're no joke. I'm not saying they're better than Ohio State and Indiana. I don't know where they rank up with Alabama. That's what I'm curious.
That's the thing.
To me, that's the measuring stick.
The tricky part is not just ranking up against Alabama, just ranking up against Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss and other outside the SEC. They found the way not to play them this year, which is great for them. I mean, they're still a tough team, but it's hard to compare how they are versus the other top teams in the SEC. when they don't match up.
Well, they will have some, common once A&M plays Texas, right? They're gonna have a couple common opponents thrown in there.
Yep.
But thankfully, in the SEC championship game that A&M is tracking towards, they're gonna at least get one of them, right? They're gonna at least get one. Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia. Well, they're gonna get one of them in that game in December in Atlanta.
Mike Elko and the Aggies 9-0. They are doing some things they haven't done in a long, long time. 9-0 for the first time since 1992. CBS Sports HQ presented by Belfort Property Restoration. Plenty more highlights and analysis coming up here on CBS Sports HQ.